welcome to the special Lenten series called The Cross Speaks. The cross is a beautiful symbol of our faith, and it signifies different things to different people. Through this weekly Lenten series every Friday, I wish to share what the cross speaks to me, how we can reflect on the learning and apply it to our life. Today is Friday, the 4th of March 2022, the first Friday of Lent, and we are going to reflect on the Gospel according to Luke chapter 23, verses 32 to 38. Let's open our hearts and listen. Two others also, who were criminals, were led away to be put to death with him. When they came to the place that is called the Skull, they crucified Jesus there with the criminals, one on his right and one on his left. Then Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." And they cast lots to divide his clothing. And the people stood by watching. But the leaders scoffed at him, saying, "He saved others, let him save himself, if he is the Messiah of God, his chosen one." The soldiers also mocked him, coming up and offering him sour wine, and saying, "If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself." There was also an inscription over him, "This is the King of the Jews." The Gospel of the Lord. It's a tiny magic word that we teach our children in kindergarten. But as we grow up, it somehow becomes very difficult for us to use, and its magic wears off, since it gets coated with layers of our pride and ego. The word is sorry. One of the biggest but toughest lessons Jesus teaches us from the cross is that of forgiveness. Jesus had said to his disciples, "Love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who abuse you." And he translated those words into action on the cross. Despite everything he went through, the terrible torture he endured, and the agony he experienced, what proceeded from him was not angry curses or abuses, but a merciful prayer of forgiveness. That extent of love is truly beyond our comprehension. What can we try and learn from this lesson of ultimate love? Let's try and look at who, why, and how to understand it better. Firstly, whom did Jesus forgive? He forgave his own, the one who betrayed him, the one who denied him, the ones who abandoned him. He forgave the ones who doubted and rejected him at various points during his ministry. He forgave the authorities who constantly plotted and planned against him. He forgave the ones who decided to have him put to death. He forgave the people who cried out for him to be crucified. He forgave the ones who whipped him, stripped him, spat on him, crowned him with thorns, pierced him, nailed him, and did absolutely everything to humiliate and destroy him. In that one ultimate act of selfless love, Jesus forgave us and all of humanity. Next, why did he forgive? He forgave us in order to set right everything that went wrong since the first sin in the Garden of Eden. He came upon this earth with the purpose of taking our place and sacrificing himself as the perfect sacrifice, so that we could be spared the consequences of sin, and so that our relationship with God our Father could be restored. He was wounded for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the punishment that made us whole, and by his bruises we are healed. And then, how did he forgive? Rarely would anyone die for a righteous person, though perhaps for a good person someone might actually dare to die. But God proves his love for us in that while we still were sinners, Christ died for us. It wasn't nails that kept Jesus on the cross. It was love. pure, perfect love for you and for me. And forgiveness is a key element of love. On the cross, Jesus demonstrated that love was the core essence of his mission, and he commands us to do the same. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. But how do we obtain that kind of love in us? How do we forgive the ones who hurt us time and time again? Only through the power of the Holy Spirit who is in us and who pours God's love into our hearts. Yes, forgiving does not seem fair, and it is definitely not easy. It wasn't easy for him too. However, let's remember that none of us is perfect. We are all sinners and we all fall short of God's glory. Hence, if we reflect on how much we have been forgiven unconditionally as a free gift of His grace, shouldn't we in turn share that gift with others? If we claim to love God, yet we refuse to obey His commandment of love and forgiveness, then His sacrifice becomes irrelevant to us, and then conditions apply to our faith. So the next time we need to forgive and find it difficult to do so, let's look towards the cross and seek His grace and strength. We cannot do this by ourselves. However, nothing is impossible with His grace, because when God enters any equation, impossible becomes I am possible. Have a blessed Lenten journey. God bless you.